I have this idea like we're building Disneyland, and that's because people fly into from all over the world.
How much did you invest into your backyard?
At this point in total, probably about 30 grand.
And you say you've been very profitable since then. How have you done with shows?
Extremely proud. The last show was like one of our biggest shows, and it's a very unique experience. My family is there, my dad cooks, my daughter's there, there's jumpers outside, there's kids there, so we're really cultivating experience. And it's a priceless experience. We don't charge a specific amount. We allow people to make offers on what that experience is worth to them. The only time you fail is when you quit, when you walk away. As long as you keep hammering at it, you win. So it's really just shooting those 10,000 shots. Whoever is your favorite or you think is the greatest, go do exactly what they do and then turn up on them. Do even more.
When I had these conversations, I like to really try to use our influence to talk to the culture and use common sense. Like we just had Boston Richie on. And like, you know, a lot of the Florida rappers been on some like drill, you know, kill shit. And he like, hey man, it's cool to be a regular nigga.
Right. The coolest.
You know,
the coolest.
He's like, it's cool to be a lame. It's cool to not have like, you know, and I think it's necessary to hear it sometimes because I think we've got so much like reinforcement of like the negative parts of our culture.
Right.
Through music. That becomes like what people really rationalize as daily living. So that's the whole point of like what I'm really doing. Like, you know, my show is called Get Your Ass Up.
Come on.
And it's direct for a reason. You know, like even like I've been on an 8-week fitness journey right now. I got fat as shit, man. I used to play in the NFL. Then life just hit me. You get lazy and you just feel comfortable. And then I'm looking down and I got rolls and I'm like not confident in like my body. Like I'm like, damn, this ain't who I used to look like.
It affects everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So like get your ass up means so many different things, but it's like not being intimidated to take on a challenge. Like if life kicked you down, like being prepared to be like, all right, I'm gonna get up anyway.
Right.
Like that's my story, that's my life, that's my journey. It's like every time I've been going through life and I'm having success or I'm trying to attempt success and it's a new hurdle I got to overcome. And sometimes those hurdles are like, you know, in the moment can feel like it's everything and it's going to stop and stop you in the tracks of your success.
Right.
And, you know, you can go through the depression and all that. And that was where I was at, man. I'm going through all this different stuff in my life. I'm looking down, I'm like, I'm eating bad, I'm smoking weed and chilling, playing video games. I'm like bypassing my day with distraction. You know, getting away from, you know, life by being distracted.
Right.
And, you know, I decided to get my ass up, bro. And that, you know, that was me reigniting even this podcast and like starting to reach out to artists like yourself. So I appreciate you coming to the show today, first and foremost, bro.
Man, I'm honored. That was a beautiful introduction, man. That was great. I'm super honored. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man.
Man, that's the energy. That's the necessary energy just through life, bro. That's what people need. That's what people need. Get up off your ass.
Get up. You know, like the dope part is, man, I put up a post, you know, I'm in LA tagging artists. Or somebody that's in LA that I need to connect with. And you got tagged several times.
Beautiful.
And people started sending me your profile, and I'll be honest, this was like my first introduction to you. And I was like, all right, bet, let me check him out. And I'm going through his page, because like when people send me artists, I get nervous, right?
Right.
Because I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't want you drill niggas. I don't want y'all like polluting the community with bullshit niggas. Like that ain't what I'm looking for.
Right.
Like I think there's a new message that we need to focus on, and I think it's about like a different conversation. And as I was looking at your page, I was like, look at bruh. I was like, damn. Cause you know, like man, when you see certain people's page, the page gives you like
it tells you everything.
Most rappers are trappers. They got guns and shit all over their page. It's like, and I see you smiling like you are right now.
Come on.
Like, and it's like a different energy, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I like, bro. Let me check them out. So then I started listening to you. I went through YouTube. I started checking out some of your freestyles. I said, oh, bro, talking about some shit. I was like, Okay, yeah. Let me send him a DM and connect with him because I think this is the type of energy that get your ass up needs, right? And then I noticed that you was on my guy B Marshall show.
That's my dog. Love him.
Yeah. Shout out to B Marsh, and I am athlete. But I just really wanted to come in and really just kind of pick your brain, man, and get to know you a little bit. So I definitely appreciate you taking some time. Like these type of interviews to me are always fun because I get to get inside someone's mind who may have overcome adversity or things in life in general that now you can use your story as a way to help somebody else that might be hitting a similar part in their life. So just a brief introduction. You might just tell me like where you from first and foremost?
Yeah, I'm LaRussel. I'm from Vallejo, California.
Okay.
Artist, entrepreneur, real nigga. You know.
That's what's up. And where's Vallejo at?
In the Bay Area, so
okay.
probably about 30 minutes from San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento. We're like in the heart, like right in between Berkeley, everything. So everything you know outside that's the Bay. Vallejo's kind of like in the center of it.
So you a Raiders fan?
I'm a fan of the Bay. You know, everything Bay Area.
Yeah, I always wonder, man, because you know, I know like over there, obviously Oakland is one of the dominant, you know, teams, this football team, right? And I actually went to a game as an opposing team fan. And Oakland was the most intense stadium I ever been in. I ain't gonna cap, like, I'm from North Philly. I done been to the Vet, where the Vet is like, they gonna call you all kind of shit. They gonna talk shit, like, from the time they see you with an opposing team's jersey on. I think when I was in Philly, I was probably like 11, 12 years old, walking around with a Redskin jersey on, and I'm getting called all kind of bitches and everything with it on. So it was like, wow, like these people don't give a fuck. Like, but I go to Oakland, man, and they're like, Raiders. Like, they're like, I mean, it was like
Die Hard.
Bro, I felt like I was like in a scary movie when the music be playing. They just be like, they just kept chanting Raiders so much, dog. Right. It was like, I'm like, bro, man, back up off me, dog. Like y'all tripping. So I know, like, y'all go hard out here in Oakland, man, or in the Bay Area.
Energy. Yeah.
So were you into sports at all, or like what was your upbringing like?
Not hyper, but yeah. I mean, I'm just like, I'm a neighborhood kid, so we played everything. You feel me? From basketball, football, frisbee, whatever you got, we gonna play it. Yeah. We outside playing it. You feel me? We just did a little bit of everything.
So was that like in Vallejo? Is that kind of? I'm not really familiar with it. Is that more like the hood, or is that kind of like?
It's a bit of both. It depends on what side you grew up on. I grew up in a lower class area of it, but it's also just you know, with normalization, you don't really notice until you notice and you go outside the region and you're like, oh, it's a little fucked up over there. You feel me? So I grew up in a lower area, but not hyper noticeably, because all of my homies, we all grew up in the similar area, so it was standard. Right.
So when did you know like you were going to take on like music? Like, was that something that you did from youth, or like?
I was writing very early, like from poems to just like journaling and drawing. I was doing creative things very early, even just random notes. I just used to write a lot. I didn't know it was going to turn into music, but you know, eventually it did through that writing and through always practicing. Like, me and the homies used to beat on tables and rap, and I used to rap with my sister, but never in a manner where I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper. It was just something I just enjoyed doing.
Yeah. All right. So I like that I hear you say you write, because it's been one of the things I've been hearing as I've been speaking to a couple artists, is like a lot of these guys don't write anymore.
Right. Like, yeah, that's gone. It's a lot of punch-ins now, right?
Yeah.
But no, writing for me is a therapeutic. It's really just an art form for me. I just write a lot of just my random thoughts or my ideas. I write almost everything. So when it comes to music, it just happened to leak over into that as well. But yeah, I just enjoy writing as an expression, as an art form.
Dope. I always like wonder, like, now in rap, I don't know if like it's like you're not cool if you don't right now. You know, like
I think
it's
you
like a
only
brag
not
now.
cool if it's not tight.
Right.
You feel me? If it sucked, then yeah, it ain't cool. If it's tight, then it's cool. It's just as simple as that. You know, no matter what form you do it in, if it come out dope, you dope.
Right. So what have you been thinking like now? Like, you know, you're starting to, like, I know you're obviously buzzing. Like I've heard that you've you signed a deal. I think with Russ, is that accurate?
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Russ. I rock with Russ, man. We I had the opportunity to interview him and got to kick with him. So he's a dope dude, man. I rock with Russ, man. He's icy. He's icy, man. I don't know if you saw the one bracelet he's got with like 5 rows of diamonds. That was the iciest. I was like, bro, that's the iciest bracelet I ever seen. It was 5.
That's wild. I didn't see it.
yeah, he's got some shit.
Right. No,
yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. The numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah. So, in a sense, are you still kind of like indie, even though you're signed with him, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm hyper independent. So I haven't delivered the project that I have in the partnership with him yet. So everything you've seen up to this point, all 20 albums, all the content we create, that's just me and my team pushing that line and pushing our agenda.
Okay. What, like, I know like a lot of artists now have been like recently talking about being independent versus signing a deal, and you're seeing so many artists coming out and complaining about not being able to release music or bad contracts and not really making a lot of money. I know you've had this deal that you signed with Russ. What type of conversations have you had as far as with him? Because he's been obviously successful in the indie space that may have helped you as far as what you're doing right now.
I think it's more so just blueprint. You know, like he's done a lot of the things that I'm pursuing. So just through his groundwork and his blueprint, I've been able to see it be attainable and accomplished to where it's like, okay, this is an easy path. And Russ met me at a point as well where I was already in motion.
Right.
You know, our shit was already moving. I was already dropping. I had probably about 10 albums out already, so I was already
That's impressive.
In motion. So he's really just like a soundboard for me and just something I could bounce ideas off and strategy, or when I'm in those moments of doubt where I could be like, hey, when this happens, you know, what do you do in these moments? But yeah, we were already in motion. So he's kind of just in like a mentor space and just support role.
That's dope. So as an independent artist, do you feel like this is the best route for most artists to take? Do you feel like the major label deal is something that people should avoid? I'm just kind of,
I think it depends on who you are as an artist and as a human. I think some people need that infrastructure because they're not willing to do the work. You know, like some people aren't meant to be entrepreneurs. They need a 9-to-5 because they need to make sure that someone's paying them every 2 weeks. If they had to go get their own food and go hunt on their own, they wouldn't. They come back empty-handed. So I think it depends on the type of artist you are. And I also think it depends on what your grand goal, what you're building, and what you're willing to work for. Because, I mean, we all know you only get what you work for. Nothing more,
100%.
Nothing less. If you don't work for it, you ain't going to get it. So it depends on what you want ultimately. I don't think label deals are bad. I think bad deals are bad. Mm-hmm. So, if you could find the proper partner in relationship, then it makes sense, But if you can't, then, yeah, I would recommend staying independent if you're willing to work. Like, we do a lot of work. Like I said, I'm on my 20th album, and me and my team, we've shot over 500 pieces of content ourselves, our own cameras, our own audio. Learning, when we do shows, we do everything ourselves. So if you're not willing to do that amount of work, then I wouldn't recommend it.
You do a lot of work. I saw you come in. You have camera with you. You got your 20 albums. Let's talk about investment. Like what type of financial investment have you been putting into your career thus far? Man,
everything. Prior to me taking on music full on, I worked in the aerospace industry, and I started doing like production work, and then I moved up to do like contract work, and I was really investing my salary. Like I was paying for my shows out of my salary, my marketing, playlist, everything that I was doing with music, equipment, cameras, lights, I was putting out of my everything. I was spending everything. I had lost my car. I got my car repossessed. I was in a position where I could have either paid my car or I could have bought presses to build my merch side of the production. And I remember my pops coming into my room and he was like, man, what you want to do? You want my help? I could go help you get the car. And I was like, nah, I'm finna start the merch side. I'm gonna get all the production equipment. And, that was a decision of me really understanding what I wanted. That was the first time it was like, yeah, this shit is hyper real, because I had a connection with the car and I loved it. And all these things that I had accumulated through work that I was starting to lose that security of like, having money in my pocket and feeling comfortable, like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I had to lose all that. But what I gained in exchange, now I'm in a position where I got everything back times 10.
All right. So, first and foremost, I love the transparency of the story, right? I have a story I very much relate to, being where you're at, dead broke and having to make decisions. 2017 for me, I was there. And,
Is this post-NFL?
Post-NFL. So I was in the NFL in 2006 and 7. And then I went, years of like being in the auto industry. I was a car salesperson. And then I went from the car salesperson to running a dealership. And that's where, like for me, I started realizing like most of the companies, like you can make them millions of dollars, but they really don't value you. At the time, I had just had a newborn child. I'm working, 14 plus hours a day. And I remember the paycheck they gave me for my bonus check. And I had took this store from a store that was doing literally like single digit units a month to it was the number one store in the Southeast. And, I'm listening to a call and they're like celebrating the success of, my hard work, basically, right? And I remember when the 10th comes and I get this check and it's my bonus check. And I look down at the bonus check and it was $600. And at the time I had relocated from North Carolina to Alabama. I got a wife, newborn child. I got a mortgage that I'm still paying back in North Carolina. Obviously new expenses that I got in Alabama and a newborn child. And I looked down at that check and I called my wife at the time and I was like, hey, pack your shit.
Right.
We're out. And that was a day I had decided like, hey, this is the last I'm going to let, the paycheck disrespect me. So I went on a journey of becoming like an entrepreneur and trying to do my own thing. And, you get through those points where you start having to like make decisions financially. You go from having a cushion to like as you're trying out business and going through life, that cushion gets smaller and smaller.
Man.
And then you start making decisions. What am I going to pay? What am I not going to pay? Then you get to the point where you just can't pay anything.
I'm not paying nothing.
Yeah, it's like you just can't pay anything. And it's
right.
like, I've been there. Like, I know so many people see me, where I am in current day. And, they're like, man, he's got the nice cars and he's got the chains and and I'm like, bro, I was broker than you. And I had to make decisions on a lot of things. I mean, I remember waking up on an air mattress that was deflating every night.
Right.
Like the
right.
shit that I live now is like so grand in comparison to where I was, but I actually went to a period where, and I always tell this story because I teach people real estate and I teach people wholesaling real estate, which is basically the easiest way to get into real estate because there's no barrier to entry. Wholesaling is basically like what most of the drug dealers in our community do right now. You play the middleman. Most of them don't have the money to be able to really truly own the product, so they become the middleman. They get somebody that fronts them, and then they try to put their tax on it, and then they sell it for more money. Well, you can do the same thing in real estate legally, play the middleman with no license, no credit, no background check, and make tens of thousands of dollars. So my dad had been in real estate for a very long time. As I was making a transition into real estate with my dad, it was a point where we were just like slow on getting deals, and it was like the money that I'm investing into the business is now is dwindling. Like, you know, it's going down, and like I'm in a house where my lights is cut off. You know, I'm sitting here like, you know, I need to do something. And I remember having the Louis Vuitton luggage set. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to take this shit to the pawn shop. Right? Like, I spent like $3,500, $4,000 for this bag. But I knew what I needed right now in the moment was the cash more than I actually needed the bag. So I go to the pawn shop and they offer me like $800 something. Like, you know, like it was a disrespectful number. Like, I'm like, God damn, but give me the money. You know, you need the money so bad that you take less for something that you know is worth more. And this is the same thing that happens in real estate. And that's why I'm using this analogy. The money that I was able to get from selling that bag, I ended up investing it into my marketing and setting up text messaging and the data for my my real estate business. And I end up finding a deal that I got this lady under contract. I sell the contract. I put the property under contract for $10,000. This was a lady who had a vacant house that was boarded up and it was getting city violations all over it. They were like, you know, I guess they were fining her for the violations of the property being unkept. So she's just ready to get rid of the property because at this point it's becoming an expense to her. So I said, hey man, I'm gonna put it under contract and I'll buy it from you. She agrees to sell it to me for $10,000. As I put his property under contract for $10,000, I realized that the property was zoned for both residential and commercial. So this is really, really important in real estate, right? Because if it's also zoned for commercial, now we can get people that have businesses to be able to come in and occupy the space, which creates more value for it.
Right.
So I ended up finding a buyer that was willing to pay me $98,500 for it, for the contract that I had just got for $10,000. So I make $88,500. This lady gets $10,000, and now I'm
800
off that 800, and now I'm in the game. Now, like, I go back and I got confidence. Now I'm able to start using my marketing and the strategy I got. I got a bankroll now.
Right.
So now I'm like, I'm going from, you know, I'm trying to figure it out to I got enough capital where I'm having 6-figure months by playing the middleman. And then I was like, yo, let me teach everybody this shit, bro. So that very next month, I do a 31-day challenge. Every day, 31 days straight, I got online, thousands of people on the Zoom teaching them how to do it step by step. And I didn't realize what was happening. But I created basically a little mini army of people who were out following my steps word for word and going out and getting bags. Like, I'm talking about people coming in, you know, from homeless people to people that were teachers and everything else from like all walks of life. And they're like now making 30, 40,000 in one deal. So now I got this huge momentum of people who are now all over the country, like running it up with real estate. And that started my whole TonyTheCloser brand, like where it really took off, because at that point, I had the walking testimonies. I got people like from, and this is the reason why I say this is because so many people think about where they currently are in that moment. Like at the time, I was broke as shit. Like I was down to where like, yo, I'm really sleeping on an air mattress. Like, bro, I had the repo man, the first time he actually tried to repo me, I done backed off and pulled off on him. My neighbors looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I tried to duck and dodge him for a little bit.
Right.
Like I'm like, shit, man. Like, yo, you can't get me just yet, bro. I need my car right now. I got to make moves. And if that was ever recorded, that shit would have went viral because it was funny as shit. Like, yo, I was like, nah, you're not getting my car. And that was like a BMW 750 Li. And at the time, that was like my favorite car. Like, I'm like, damn, bro, like, you know, when you in that bad financial spot, you done overspent, now all your money gone, and you looking up trying to figure out, that shit hurt, knowing like you got to let shit go.
It hurt.
Like, your pride, everything, you like, damn, like, this is my baby. Like,
Ego
you know,
blow.
you start going back looking at yourself with the pictures, and you was looking all fly with all that money you done spent on too much on the clothes and all that shit. You like, you was a dumbass nigga, but you was
Ego
fly
blow,
though.
right?
Like, but being in that moment, it was like, it was really pivotal for me because I had made the decision to say, hey, I'm going to sell my Louis shit that I had just bought that was so important to me, you know. And I got less money for it than I actually spent for it, but I ended up running it all the way up.
You got more for it.
Yeah, because I was willing to say, hey, look, for where I want to go, I got to be willing to take steps backwards. And I think that's important, man. I'm glad that you talked about making a decision to say, hey, I got to let my car go. And, you know, I'm going to invest into myself. I would rather take this and invest into my merch and into me. And now your vision has rewarded you. I don't think enough of us give ourselves enough credit for like being able to overcome if we just commit and have vision and consistency.
Right.
So let's talk about like your mindset. Like, what's your approach with being an indie artist and, you know, knowing the challenges of being indie, bro? You've been like obviously putting out a lot of work, 20 plus albums and things like that. What's your mindset for like your big goals and what you hope to accomplish?
Man, I'm one of the things like you just said, knowing you have to take those steps backwards. It's like even that conditioning to understand like that those aren't steps backwards, right? It's just steps. You feel me? Because that's the thing that hurts us when we feel like we going back or we losing progress. But it's like you're just dropping weight so you could fly a bit better, you know, a bit easier. We're just dropping some weight. And that really helps because after I got my car repossessed, it was like definitely a deep mental conditioning. Like it's that ego blow and that pride. Like you never want to feel like, especially as men, like somebody took something from you. That's the worst. But that also taught me the value of ownership because I had a car previously before that one that I had owned and bought completely. And after I got my car repossessed, like I had gave that first car to my partner, so I was able to go back and be like, "Oh, I need this whip." Let me get. And since I owned it, it was like that really taught me the value of okay, this is mine, right? And no one can take this from you. You feel me? So that's like a big lesson that carried into the music. Now I understand ownership and value, you know, like me and my pops used to have talks early on when we first started getting deals, and he'd be like, man, you could just give the label like 3 albums, 4 albums. And then I was like, nah, I can't. You feel me? Because I understood like how important this ownership was for me. But now that I have 20, I understand like building homes with other people. You know, I got a neighborhood and I got 20 houses that I own. Now I can go build a home across the street that I don't own, but I get paid rent from. You know, it's like when they sell it or when they rent it out, they gonna cut me a piece of rent. So now I'm understanding that I could build homes with other people, and all of that goes into just building as an indie. Like my whole company and my brand was built on helping other artists. We started doing a lot of live performance sets and a lot of content for other artists outside of me that I just love. Like you realize that your brand grew once you started sharing. Like people don't understand. Everything is better when you share it. It's like when you get some food that's hella good, the first thing you want to do is like put somebody on. You like, hey, you got to try this because it's better when you share that shit. And like we learned that early from helping so many artists and sharing our platform. I was able to grow mine. And so when I'm growing with my career and being indie, my whole thing is just like sharing everything. I don't really hold too much. Any gem I got, any platform I use, any information I got, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna share it because it can only amplify. It can only get bigger once you do that.
That's one of the things that I'll second that. Like most people know, if you follow me, I'm an information giver. I'm a sharer. And sometimes I feel like I might talk too damn much. I'm like, maybe I did go a little bit, like because I be giving a lot of game, but I think it's just something that, you know, naturally you just kind of get back that from, you know, what you've done for other people, man. I can't be as blessed as I am without all the people who support me and that have pushed me forward from me being a sharer and helping them get their goals. So I believe in helping other people get where they want to go helps everybody out ultimately, man. And that
And those wins always feel so much better.
Yeah.
You know, those wins always feel so much better. Like, you know, we all like to score, but like when you help your teammate score, it's like, you know, throwing that lob and watching your teammate dunk that's another win too. You feel me? That's something to cheer and smile about as well.
100%. My saying is, it's our turn. So I believe in like using the mindset of being like inclusive, like help everybody out. Like when I'm in one of my trainings, like I encourage like, hey, get into groups, work together. Like you guys don't have to be in competition. Like that's what people want you to believe is like you got to be in competition. Like you guys can do this together. You can work with a partner. You can have somebody that looks like you, be somebody that helps you get to where you want to go. Like we've got this like, I did it by myself mentality. Like, yeah.
But I mean, a lot of us that's raised in like the hood or just, you know, us men, like I said, another thing, it's like we have a very scarcity mindset. Like there's only room for one.
Yeah.
You feel me? There's only room for one, but it's like that is so untrue. You feel me? Like you can always make more room if you're willing.
That's a fact. What do you think about like, obviously, like we seen this tragic incident yesterday. We saw PNB Rock was out, and it was like a robbery attempt, and the guy took his life. We speak about ego a lot of times, man, and like, you know, I think like jewelry is part of like a male's ego in a sense, right? For me personally, like when I wear my stuff, like it makes you feel like, yeah, you know, I've accomplished some shit. I got some nice shit, and you take pride in wearing it. But this trip coming out to LA, I decided to leave my shit in Miami.
Beautiful.
The last time I was here, my jeweler out here told me, he was like, hey man, I've had about 10 to 15 guys get robbed. And it's bad right now. And I was like, I told my guys, I was like, man, I'm leaving this shit home, man. Like, it just, you know, I'd rather not have anybody in my circle have to be put at risk based off something that's my fruit, something that I've deserved. I've earned this, but you know, people are like operating in this different mindset where they'll go take your hard work. It sounds like from what stories are being said is that, you know, PNB Rock, you know, they tried to rob him. He decided that he wasn't going for it, and they decided that they shot him and killed him, right? I just want to get your opinion, just like on the we talked about ego, like, and then I noticed like you don't have any jewelry on right now.
I am the jewelry.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanna just pick your mind on your brain on like just what do you think about first off, the incident itself, and then you personally and your decisions and beliefs on jewelry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the incident is tragic. Definitely. Ego on all ends, and pride being at heavy display, and just man, people are hungry, you know, and it's like that's food, and it doesn't matter who's in a position that's holding the food. When someone's hungry, they don't care about who's holding the food. They want the plate. You feel me? And with the jewelry, it's a big thing in our culture, and I noticed, but in our culture, we also have a lot of fragile ego. Like, a lot of us feel small, and I've had my phase of wanting a bunch of external things, but, like, I've learned early that external trophies just don't fulfill me. Like, it's nothing worse than having on, you know, this amount of money in jewelry and these nice cars, and you still feel like shit inside. Like, it doesn't do it. And that's the case with a lot of these artists. You see all this jewelry on, but you listen to the music and they sad and they going through it. And it's like you can't heal yourself through anything outside of you. It doesn't do nothing, but it's like we feel so small internally. We like, I'm going to go get the biggest chain. I'm going to go get the biggest car. But you still feel like the smallest man. And it just, it doesn't do it. And I figured out that early. It doesn't do it for me. Wasn't healing me. It wasn't fixing the issue. It's like temporarily it feel good, you know. It's like I got this, you know. And I don't even like I don't really enjoy the idea of like having something that my team or the people around me can't really have. You know, I give damn near everything. Like I'll buy new equipment, new mics, new anything, new computers, and here. You know, if somebody doesn't have one, you have mine. Right? It doesn't make me feel fulfilled to have stuff that other people don't have.
That's deep, man. I like your thought process there. So, when you like, so you don't own any jewelry at all, right?
None.
What do you invest in? Where you put your money at?
Me. I put all of my money into my business, into my team. I pay the people around me. I take care of my family, and I invested in my backyard. I built a venue in my backyard, so that generates a bunch of profit. You know, we spent a nice chunk of change, but out of the 4 shows we've done so far, we've made that back times 10.
Nice.
I invested in community. I do these community brunches where I basically buy out the restaurant. I just pay the tab for the whole day, and I let people come in and eat, and they can pay whatever they want for it. Investing in, you know, just going and doing our shows and just building our brand. That's really my thing. I don't really buy too much things outside of that. You know, everything kind of goes toward what I want to build. I just happened to find something I love early on. So I was spending a lot of money buying microphones and equipment, but it all happened to pay off because it's things that we utilize that makes us more money.
How much have you invested into like equipment?
Probably well over 6 figures into equipment, marketing, production, paying the team, buying computers, well over 6 figures.
And you've been doing this for how long?
Like legitly since like 2018. That's when I dropped my first project. Okay. And I was still working, and I ended up quitting my job in 2019. But 2018 was when I really started kind of pushing this line.
Dope. And you're like, when you come from like you're the indie boss, and you like you're so responsible for like all the success and everything of your business. Like I noticed I have a couple guys. I just did an interview with a gentleman the other day. He talked about the amount of hard work that you have to do because you got to wear every hat. And
right.
Like he was coming from structure of having, you know, a deal to now like he has to fill all these different roles. And how do you manage all the different roles of being indie? Like, or do you have people on your team that are going to these specific things, or is it strictly you handling?
So when I started, it was me doing everything, and just out of passion and love and necessity. I didn't have nobody to say, hey, do it, so I'm going to do it. And just me naturally, I'm someone where if you're around me, I'm going to find something for you to do. So as my homies come, it's like, hey, bro, this is what I'm working on. Since you here, help me with it, or you just don't need to be here right now because this is what I'm doing. And through that, I naturally found more people that want to assist and join. And then just as you grow and progress, you start to attract the proper people, you know, the right people into the right roles. So now I have different people in different positions to do things, but I'm still heavily involved. I see everything. I touch everything to make sure it's, you know, because my name and my brand is on it. But initially, it's just I had to out of necessity. I'm going to get it done. I used to set the camera up, run behind it, hit record, run back, get in front, do my thing. You feel me? Yeah. We'll shoot the live sessions. I'll edit all of them, put the lyrics. You feel me? So just naturally, if you want it, you have to. You're gonna do everything you got to do to get it.
That's dope. So you really know how to do every aspect of what you produce.
My entire team has been taught by me. Like it took a while before someone came in that was like that I didn't have to teach their role. It was like, oh, they're teaching me some new shit. But like from my audio engineers to my cameras to everybody was someone I brought in as like homies and was like, hey, this is how you do it. Like I had to learn it to be able to teach it. And I'm just a vast believer in like I don't like to tell somebody to do something that I don't know how to do or can't do, because if you fuck it up, then I can't even be like, all right, well, I'm gonna do it. You feel me? So I have to know. I'm somebody who have to know.
So do you take I guess now like you've got this amazing like buzz that's coming around you now. Like most of it now, what you hear is like when you get people who have definitely like someone like you got a catalog 20 plus albums and everything else. How do you get that real breakthrough to where we start hearing more of your music mainstream?
I think that's the natural response to just doing the type of work that I do. It's almost like it's like radio. It's funny, when I built my backyard venue, I was looking for outdoor furniture, and I'm going through places, and I found this place called Living Spaces, and I'm like, why the hell do I know this name? And it's because, like, when I used to go to high school, they always had this ad on the radio that'd be like, Living Spaces, and that shit stuck with me. So it's just like hearing it all the time and seeing it, you naturally, it just sits in your subconscious, and as it does that, it grows. And with me, like, I start putting out content every day at a multitude, 3 to 5 times a day. So just naturally, if you see something 150 times a month, it's going to keep on breaking through that wall and through that barrier. And as larger people see it and they have grander networks, it's like, oh, we want to do it too. Like Charlamagne brought me on Breakfast Club. That was a big look. Millions of other people got to see it. And like, I believe if something's great to 10 people, then it's also great to 1 million people once they figure it out and they get to find it.
Right. So goals wise, what type of goals do you set for yourself?
I don't really set too many goals anymore, honestly. And I stopped doing that because I figured out, like, it's just a product of work. You're always going to be exactly where your actions lead you. So I know that if I'm sitting here and I'm doing this work, I know if I come do this podcast, when it releases, I'm going to have 10 pieces of content. That's the result of the work I did. If I go get a shovel and go in the backyard and start digging, I'm going to get a hole. It's just that simple to me. So I don't really set the goals anymore. I just do the work towards whatever I want to accomplish. I wanted a venue, so I said, okay, well, I'm going to flip my backyard. I didn't know what was going to come after that. I just knew, okay, if I do this and do the work, whatever is a result of that work being done, that's what I'm going to get. And I'm always okay with that.
How much did you invest into your backyard? I heard you mention that has been pretty good for you.
So the initial investment was about $18,000, and then we added like bleacher. Each show we've added more. So just to this point in total, probably about $30,000.
Okay. And you say you've been very profitable since then. How have you done with shows and everything?
Man, extremely proud. The last show was like one of our biggest shows, and that one had the most people, and we probably grossed about 16, 17 grand off that one. And this is something, I built something that can last a lifetime now. Like I have this idea, like we're building Disneyland, and that's because people fly from all over the world in to see us do what we do. And it's a very unique experience. My family is there. My dad cooks. My daughter's there. There's jumpers outside. There's kids there. So we're really cultivating experience. And it's a priceless experience. We don't charge a specific amount. We allow people to make offers on what that experience is worth to them, because I feel like this is something like, it's like your Louis bag. Like when he made you that offer, you felt offended because you set a value on what that bag was. He didn't tell you, you didn't know what that bag was worth to him. That's just what it was worth to you. You feel me? So we make these experiences. I don't set a price because I don't want to be offended. You could tell me whatever you feel it's worth, and I could either accept or deny it.
Okay. So have you denied any
Oh, yeah, we have to. Because, the backyard is only so big, and we get thousands of offers. We have enough offers to do this show for the rest of my life. I don't think the offer list is going to ever stop. As I get bigger, more and more people want to come. And this is something that we're just kind of growing and cultivating at home, because we don't have nothing there. No one comes to Vallejo for anything. This is the first time in history people are flying from all over the world to come to Vallejo to do something.
That's dope. Well, so when you got, I guess, like a setup like you have where you're bringing everything to your own backyard, you're giving an experience like with your family, your loved ones. How do you scale that? Like, what's your thoughts on being able to like really scale?
So the thing with Disneyland is like eventually you, when you go to Disneyland, they got 2 parks on each side, So my goal with scaling is eventually we'll go get a venue or a big piece of land, and we just have these different areas. The backyard would be one type of installation. Then we have a venue that's where if we need to go bigger. But for me, it's to me, scaling is about demand more so than having like I don't have to have 1,000 people in my backyard if I have 1,000,000 people that want to come. I can keep doing 250 people every time because like that is scaling to me. Like the demand is so high that it's building this thing where everyone's like, I want, we have a lot of high level people like celebrities who want to come to this thing and like I need to be in the backyard. So to me that it's already scaling.
Dope. Like, what do you think about like the current like music scene with like rap? Like, when you hear like the drill and do you think like this type of music is something that like is negative towards our culture and pushes something that typically just causes more harm?
I think we've always had this existence of polarity. There's always been music that kind of heals and propels culture, and there's always been music that just kind of operates in this realm and does whether it does damage or just does what it does. But I don't look at it as a negative when it's a reflection. Like there's some artists that are faking and they're creating things that it's like you're doing harm, you're doing damage because it's not true to you. But the ones where if this is true to you and this is the life you know, that's just a reflection of the world that we live in. And that's never a negative thing. That's just revealing. This is what people are growing up in. This is what they're dealing with. They're going to talk about it. It's a reflection of what their living condition.
I just wonder, like, I asked this to Tip the other day. I'm like, do you feel responsible for like some of the way the culture, because the culture follows and adores
hip hop, rappers, singers,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, like it's
right.
it's like a very, very deep obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care where you're from. You could be the most corporate person,
right?
Or you can be, like from the hood. It's everybody identifies with hip hop and rap in some capacity, and I just was wondering, like, I asked him, like, yo, do you feel like you're responsible for like some of the negative that comes with it? And he was like, hey, well, it's like me telling my story, and it's gonna be like positives and negatives that come from from that. But I always think about like when I hear music from my kids' perspective. Like I got a 10 and a 16-year-old, and when you hear like what they're listening to, it's like, God damn, well, what the like, like when I hear my 16-year-old like who's been like growing up in nothing but really good conditions and away from all the BS, like listening to like drill, and I'm like, shit, like what is going on here, like
right, influence.
Yeah, the influence is so heavy. I just get nervous about that influence, really, having, because kids are so impressionable, having the wrong impression,
right.
When you create, what are your thoughts? Are you conscious of what you put out as far as in your lyrics, as far as whether you would think like, hey, is this going to be damaging to people, or like how do you create your music?
I'm not often intentionally conscious of it because I rap about my life and what I'm experiencing, and I don't think it's my duty to guide anyone in a specific way. I think my duty is to be true to me. So as long as I'm doing that, what the result of that is, I don't think it falls on the artist. I think that falls on, we're all kind of raising the children as a village, but it's like your neighborhood. If you grow up in a neighborhood and across the street there's some drug dealers, and down the street you got some people who do this and that, if your kid go and follow them, it's not their fault. They're just living their life. They're not raising your child, but they're part of the community that the child sees. So If they choose to take on that responsibility, they can, but they don't have to because they're just living their life, and we can't really control or navigate how someone lives their life. We don't know what they've been through for them to even be to that point to where they're discussing this in their records or talking about this. You feel me? And a lot of people can't be held accountable because like they don't even have the proper tools to build the home you want them to build. Simple as that. You know, we could look and point the finger, but it's like, bro, he can't build the house you want him to build. He don't have the tools that you are requiring of him.
Right. What are some things that you're working on now that you're looking forward to?
My life. Really, you know, just life, you know, learning new gems and you know, I'm often talking to the homies and they're always pouring into me and giving me new game, and I'm reading and just learning things through life as it been in motion, learning from your mess ups and your mistakes. Really, life is the biggest thing that I'm kind of working on you know, every day. But other than that, you know, a lot of music and, like I say, my backyard venue, my brand, and just my career. Those are like very important things to me because, like I said, they're all reflections of my life. You know, we live in a state now where we have a lot of people that are like great at everything except being a good person. So I be trying to you know, trying to slowly navigate my life to where, like, I never want to be the nigga who was, like, a great rapper but a trash human, or a great athlete but a trash human, or a great this but a trash human, you know? It's like, bro, we don't have to clap for that shit. Like, great, you can catch. You know, awesome. That's cool. And, you know, I never want to get to a point in life where the whole world reveres me, but my family doesn't and my homies don't because I'm not. It's not true, you know. I'm not really living great or well.
That's real. Let me see. What questions do you wish you would get asked that you never get asked when you do an interview?
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I really be walking into interviews just blindly and open, like I'm whatever comes, you know. I'm gonna speak on it. I don't really have anything that I'll be like, I wish they would have talked about that. You know, I just be open book. I just be chilling.
Yeah. What I like asking all my guests if you have a regret like through life that you like kind of like, damn, I wish I did that a little bit differently. Is there anything that kind of like, you know, keeps you up at night or gets on you a little bit?
Man, a lot of things keep me up at night. Whenever I'm acting, whenever I haven't acted within code, you know, whenever you do something that bothers your soul, where it's just like you could have been a better human, those things bother me. But I don't really have any regrets. You know, I know that everything that has happened to me or that I have done is the reason I'm right here. So I don't regret any of it. But definitely any time that I feel like I've acted immoral or just out of code or just out of being a good human due to me wanting to gain or be advantageous or just out of either lust or greed, it kind of sits with me. Like every action just sits with me a bit differently if it's not within alignment of where I know I should be.
Like speaking of that, like, you know, there's a lot of people that are opportunists and they'll jump on an opportunity that might make them sacrifice their morals or their, you know, whatever, right? Has there been anything that has like challenged you at that, you know, at that where you are now, like in Indians, like, you know, maybe if I move a certain way, I do something like any of that happened with you?
I feel often, especially through deals, you know, like, cause deals are something where, anytime a sum of money is offered, it puts you in a state of, you know, where you have to think about everything and you can't just, it's like, you always want to grab that money, but you got to think about the people involved. Like, we were talking recently and I was saying like, even if I'm offered a great deal by a major, which I've been, it's very hard for me to accept it because I can't I don't want to be anywhere where you treating me well, but everybody else is getting fucked over. Like, this man's a slave and he's crying because of how you did him and how his deal is. And you saying, oh, well, it's just business. He signed a contract, but you're not doing what's right. But you going to bring me in and treat me like a king. It's just, I can't be there. You feel me? Because that's all. It's already a conflicting for me.
Respect. I can respect that, man. There's not a lot of people with that type of moral compass that would make that type of decision. What's the most money that you've turned down?
About $850,000.
Mm-hmm. What's your decision making go into saying no when you look at that type of money?
Man,
because $850,000 a lot of fucking money, man.
Right, life changing, especially at this early, you know. And that's the thing. It's like I'm understanding now, like these are early deals, so it's only going to get bigger. But really having the right people behind it, you know, like you can feel genuine energy, and then when someone's just trying to capitalize off of something and just jump on something because it's moving and it's active, and then you can feel when people actually care or they have good intent behind you. And then, like I say, that other part of it where I've seen how you treated them. You know, like I've seen how you treated them. I know what you've done already, but you're going to do me differently. That's just a wild situation to walk into comfortably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of those things, man, where, you know, having character and morals is something that's important, man. I can, you know, like I told you, like even the energy that you put off on your page, you can feel it from the time I met you downstairs. And even this has been a blast of an interview, just, man, seeing your personality. And, like, you can just feel like, hey, man, this guy's a genuine good dude. You know, as you meet so many people, you get the chance to really kind of like be like, you get to be a judge of character. But I wish you nothing but success, man. I appreciate you coming and sitting down with me today in such short notice too, man. That's dope. I really like, you know, for you, if you don't mind, like just give me 3 tips for an up and coming artist that is trying to go indie. If you just holler at them in the camera, like just let them know, like, hey, here's 3 tips to, you know, if you were starting over today.
Man, shoot 10,000 shots every single day. You know, I think if you want to be great, you have to do everything that the greats have done and some, because times has also changed. So, like, if you want to be as great as Jordan now, the players are even bigger and even stronger. So everything Jordan did, you need to do that times 10, you know. And if you're not willing to do that kind of work, if you're not willing to do something 10,000 times before you even see any progress or profit from it, you should walk away. Cause like that's like, it's gonna push you. And if you're not willing to do that, you're gonna break every time, and you're just gonna be miserable on the journey, because that's really what it takes. I think everything else falls in line. If you're willing to do that, nothing else will stop you. You know, you only lose when you quit. That's the only time you fail, is when you quit, when you walk away. As long as you keep hammering at it, you win. So it's really just shooting those 10,000 shots. Whoever is your favorite or you think is the greatest, go do exactly what they do, and then turn up on them. Do even more.
Dope. Top 5 West Coast rappers all time.
West Coast, top 5. Pop, for certain. Kendrick. Snoop. Can I put Dre in there? Not a rapper, but Dre. Dr. Dre has done so much iconic. I gotta go Dr. Dre and Mac Dre. Okay,
dope. Okay, I love putting you artists on the spot. give me who you listening to right now. Are you do you listen to anybody outside of yourself right now?
I listen to a whole lot of me. A lot of Sad Guru. I be listening to Tim Cook and Steve Jobs speeches. Who have I been listening to lately that I love? Tim's. I really love Tim's music. She's really exceptional. Yeah, I haven't been lately listening to too much outside music because I've been working so much on a lot of stuff. So I don't really, yeah.
What do you do for like fun when you're not like creating?
I play tennis. I go hoop. I ride my bike. I read. Just hang out with the homies.
Okay.
Yeah.
You game any?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
What say your city again?
Vallejo.
Vallejo. In Vallejo, what's like the best spots to go eat?
Man, Momo's, Sunshine Barbecue, Todd's Grill. That's the Indian spot. Simple Thai. Them my spots.
Bomb?
My frequencies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let me see what else I got for you. When you go to LA, where you go to eat at? What's your spots in LA?
Bossa Nova. Hey, Bossa Nova is our spot. Oh my God. As soon as we leave here.
What you get from Bossa Nova? What's your meal?
The pesto pasta with the chicken, man. That's the yes.
Okay.
They got it.
I be need to know exactly what to order, man.
Yes,
going
the
to the
pesto
restaurant.
pasta.
Yeah,
Man,
okay.
That's the wave. Yeah, Bossa Nova got it. They got it every time. Now we have to go eat there when we come.
That's lit. What's your dream car?
I don't think I have one. That, I used to be really into cars, and I had got my Mustang, and that was like a big moment. Then I had got a motorcycle, and that was like a big moment. And I used to just really love, like, I used to want Corvettes and Range Rovers and all of that, but I don't really think I have one anymore. I don't even have a car right now. I ride my bike or I walk or the homies drive me wherever. Or I drive my mama car. I don't even have a car.
How the hell you don't have a good, like, is that just like where you live at? You just don't need one really, or like just your lifestyle?
No, I mean just my life doesn't call for me to have I always have someone to drive me somewhere, or I'll Uber, or I be home most of the time, so I could ride my bike or walk. Like the places I do all my business from home. I don't have to go nowhere. I've really built an infrastructure at home. When I want to create content, I go in my backyard or my garage or to my studio that we have. Like,
dope.
I'm home, so I don't even have a need for a car. I haven't had a car since my car got repossessed, and then I got my original one back, and I sold it because I needed the money, and I haven't had a car since.
Yeah, he said, "Yo, I got my other car back, and then I sold it.
I needed the money, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't had one since. And I could have had several. I just don't have a need or a deep desire for it anymore. Like I say, a lot of things now I'm learning that it's just I'm not fulfilled externally. I'll be searching forever. I'll have to buy everything.
What about love life? You got a lady?
No. But I do feel love.
Yeah.
Intensely. Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very difficult. Very difficult space for me to navigate. I'm still learning actively and heavily how to properly love someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's what's up. I think that's it, bro. I just try to put you on the hot seat for a minute.
Beautiful.
Appreciate you coming and sitting down with me today, brother.
I love it. What an honor.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
man. This is dope. Real quick, if we can get you to say, hey, your name, and I'm on the Get Your Ass Up show.
I love it. That was great. I think that's a very necessary thing. People aren't transparent, especially in this game, because it's pride-filled and it's ego-filled. Like, we don't like to feel like we losing something or we lack something, but ultimately that's the feeling. That's why niggas aren't transparent, because they feel small or feel like they're lacking or losing something.
Right.
So we act like we have it in other means. Like, it's the jewelry. Like what is it about jewelry that makes you like, I gotta go get a chain? Like, what was that initial feeling? And when did you decide I'm going to get a chain?
I think part of it is what you see already, right? What's around us is like it's like a trophy. Like the thought of having like a trophy, something that like it's almost like an accomplishment.
See, and that's such a different level than what's happening when we see artists buying all this shit and people buy. Like, none of that even exists in the mind or in the intention of acquiring it and getting it. You feel me? Like, it's just the flex purpose. And that shit is a deep conditioning. It's a very deep conditioning, you know, and it's a part of one of those things that takes the culture this way instead of that way. You feel me? It's because we are very deep conditioned to just I feel like anytime you get in a position where if you have $1 million and you choose to get a chain before you like put it into something that could like help whatever is happening, you know, like in my city, I do these community brunches off like my indie income. There's several people who's made it out of there who choose to go get chains or cars or whatever. And even the city, like they choose to paint stairs and do other shit rather than like feed people first, you know? Like I feel like that's a deep conditioning just for us for our decision making to decide to do that over this, right? Because that becomes a human issue at some point.
That's one of the things that I take a lot of pride in, man, is the people. Like the amount of money I've made, like with helping people, I put a great deal back into the actual people that look like me.
Beautiful.
I mean, going into Walmart and going to the registers and saying, hey, anybody that comes in here as a black woman, come through the line, I'm paying for your stuff. You know, spend $40 grand in Walmart. You know, go into using my socials, man. I do this thing called Closer Clause. And every Christmas, I go for 12 days of Christmas and I get on my live and I listen to people's stories and what they've been going through. And I'm just literally blessing people, $5,000, $10,000, whatever.
Beautiful.
Like, man, I've given away hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've helped people that have been scam victims by people that are fake gurus online. Like,
Right.
I use my platform really to be transparent, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable sometimes because, like, I say this shit and I might go at some people that they were maybe fans of, and I think that's one of the things that I realize sometimes, like, we become such fans of who we think somebody is that we turn a blind eye to, like, things that are improper and who they really are. But my biggest thing now is like being an inspiration to people, and I didn't realize for a minute, like, because it gets frustrating sometimes because when you're working your ass off for a goal and you come in with pure intentions and you start seeing all the wicked shit happen around you, it can be rather discouraging. And that was kind of like even where I, for a bit, I kind of took time off. And, you know, you heard me tell you, I was like, man, I took like a year and some change just to kind of fall back, man. You know, you start seeing the industry, you start seeing how people will step on you, people that you think fuck with you, that do some weird shit. You just kind of go through all the motions of like life, and then like you know, I found myself like really like falling back and like almost forgetting my mission for a minute, because it gets so frustrating to have to overcome all the behind the scenes shit that you got to overcome. But like when you go back now and I'm like, all right, I got into the gym, I got refocused and reorganized. I'm able to now feel back my purpose. Now I'm coming back even more aggressive. Now I'm like really like locked into the things that I want out of my life.
Dope.
And I really think that like we society, I mean, our culturally we go through so many different abuses, and you got so many people trying to tell you what you can't do. You got so many people backstabbing and stepping over people to try to get their own personal gain. Like, there's all these different things, and then you go out here and we look at jewelry and things like that we use as a means to say like we finally made it, or prove that like, yeah, bitch, y'all doubted me, so now like look at this, right? That's me. Like I bought my shit and I'm like, look at this. Like, yeah, you motherfuckers hated on me. Now I got 2 Lambos. I got the Rolls Royce. I got the fuck. Like, now I'm like, yeah, you thought you could stop me. And like, in a sense, that feels good because I know the people that thought they were stopping me have to see it. So you know, that's a part of like the ego that pushes that out. But you know, that's just some of that shit that you know, me internally that I deal with. But I know there's many people that like that shiny object is like
Right.
it's the trophy, it's the I made it moment type
Right.
deal.
Right.
Another thing that I know I wanted to address, all my rap homies, man. I love y'all. I love y'all to death, man. Your fans love you. You got a responsibility. You have a responsibility to your family, to your fans, to your loved ones, to your friends. Get some insurance on your jewelry, man. Get some fucking insurance on your jewelry, man. A lot of y'all saying you ain't going because you ain't protected. The reality is most of you, if you were protected, you would be going. You would give it up because guess what? The insurance money going to outweigh the money that you actually spent because the appraisals typically go into your advantage.
That pride. Though.
So yeah, but like I get it, but man, like put some protection on your assets, man. Like I know y'all got this fly ass shit and you don't want to give it up because you ain't protected it. It's not protected. So you thinking like, damn, I'm about to take a $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 loss or whatever it is because you're not protected. If you're protected, you can get it all back and you keep your life and you don't have to worry about like going out bad, man. I just hope that my rap niggas, man, my people, man, I love y'all and I know y'all ain't going, y'all stepping on shit. I know how you feel. I know you done work hard for it. We all work hard for it. But at the end of the day, we'd rather have you at home. We'd rather be able to hear you still create music. We'd rather hear you still be around, man. Like, I'm tired of losing, like, people that I love to hear, enjoy their art over senseless crimes and definitely over jewelry. Like, guys, man, protect your assets. It's worth it. I know that you sitting here thinking, like, you going to be good and ain't nobody going to try you and everything. Hey, man, insurance, dog. The same way you go get that shit on your car, put that shit on your jewelry, bro. Somebody break into your house, they steal something. You never know what's going to happen. The worst case scenario, you never know, but the reality is be able to replace it with insurance. Get you some protection on your shit, man. Protect your assets.
Right. This message is brought to you by...
yeah, man, that's so important, though, like, because,
right.
Dudes really be having expensive ass jewelry.
I mean, not just your jewelry, your life.
Your life, all that.
Right?
No protection on your life. You died with no insurance on nothing.
Right.
Only thing that you had insurance on was the car because the dealership made you.
Right. Right.
If you ain't had to get that, you wouldn't get that either.
Right.
A lot of these niggas don't give a fuck, bro. Like, if they can skate without just, you know, hey, man, I'm going to live forever. They think they got a respawn button.
Right, but that's that conditioning where like we're not always handed the things that come with everything that we're handed. Like, you know, sometimes we're just handed the money, but not all the information that is supposed to come with the money as well. And instead of us being taught, we're often just like scrutinized or judged before a nigga like, nah, let me come holla at you, right? Yeah. It don't come through that form, so it's like I say, it's another thing with the tools. We're expecting people to build houses when it's like, bro, this nigga ain't even got a hammer, a screwdriver, nothing.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah. They don't have nothing to build the homes that we need people to build. But that's just a part of like, bruh, it's that coming from nothing and finally having something. And it's like, you're just happy that you got something. You're not thinking about nothing else around it.
Yeah, man. Hey, one thing about it, fellas, I'm going to educate you. Hey, my artists out here, go get your jeweler to get you an appraisal. Put some insurance on it. Your jeweler can refer you to the same people that they actually insure their jewelry with. Don't play yourself. Don't let them make you miss out on that. Don't sleep. This is real game.
Right.
Make sure you protect that jewelry. If you go spend $10,000, $15,000, bro, it don't matter. Go spend that couple $100 extra to cover what you just invested into. It's gonna be worth it, man. And then you don't have to worry about feeling like you got to go take nobody out because they didn't try to play with you. Hey, you get more money when they give you the insurance check anyway. Be safe.
Come on.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
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 It's dope having you here, man. Your energy is dope. Hey, why you remind me of my dog, Mr. Hotspot?
Who is Mr. Hotspot?
You remember Mr. Hotspot? He be like that. hey, yo.
That's hilarious.
Yo, you definitely like your smile like just energetic. Like he was always like super happy. Like it's like
That's tight. Yeah. The happy thing. Hey. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, that's what's up. It's like a positive thing. Like, it's like you know what I'm saying? But you don't know who Mr. Hotspot is?
No, I'm gonna dancing
go and everything. Hey, look, when we do the video,
it out.
When we do the video edit,
don't put the clip up. No, I haven't seen him. That's funny because that's me. That's my energy usually.
I'm telling you, like, hey, yo, that's gonna be the clip. That's gonna be the intro.
The
like,
introduction.
Yo, Mr. Hotspot.
Right. That's hilarious.
Nah, man, appreciate you coming on though.
Man,
sure,
honored, super honored.
So
this is great.
Man.
This is great.
Yeah, that's dope.
Man, grateful.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Nice. Come on. Thank you guys too.
You,
yes, I love it. That was great.